as the ambassador for peace, and I'll be introducing you to peace education. I'll be serving as a peace building facilitator, just like a guide to let you know some of the things you will be doing and what you need to do before you embark on this journey. So this is more of some of the things you need to know about yourself before you know other people. So this is on self-awareness, and this is important for you as a peace builder, as a teacher, or as a leader. So I want you to be with me and join me on this voyage. I'm sure that we are going to have a wonderful time together, and just find a very good space and get your pen and paper or your notepad or something, so that you can have enough time to reflect and to write things genuinely. Before we go into it fully, I want to say that you should pay attention to yourself, your inner self. You must be sincere, you must be honest, you must be sensitive to your inner being, so that we can both enjoy the process and also the outcome in a very good way. So let's move. Everything starts with the person, the individual. Who are you in the first place? And we'll be looking at that properly before we go into a lot of things. And this time, you must be able to identify yourself, realize your self-worth, because this is actually the first sign for peace education in secondary school. Before you go out to school, how to take actions, before you teach, you must understand who you are, and that is important. You must also understand peace definition by different bodies. We're looking at that, maybe not in this particular session, but we'll still look at that. We will also be looking at ways of achieving different kind of peace, and at the end of it, you must be able to think or talk through at least 3 of those ways to be at peace with yourself. But for now, we're focusing on you. So if I may ask you, what comes to your mind when you have the word peace? This question is important because, and as a teacher, you must know before you also ask people, you must have this at the back of your mind. For me, what comes to my mind when we talk about peace is a just society. And if I want to draw that, I'll be drawing that with the sign of justice, that everybody should be seen equal and all that. So I want you to do that. So you can actually put it on a pen. It might be a person, animal, place, or thing. Draw it in a blank sheet of paper and exchange it with someone. You might relate that to me later, maybe in the chatbot or anything. It's important you have this well sorted out. And so what image comes to you or what animal comes to you determines, or anything that comes to you will be important when we are evaluating what you later know or what will be added to your knowledge as you progress on this. The next step is for us to have some questions about who you are. And this is important. Even myself, I'll be sharing some might be hypothetical, but some might be real. So I'll be talking about the reasons behind these questions and why it's important for you to ask them properly before you get into the core business of peace building. Those are the things I'll be sharing, but I'll be sharing my stories too along the way. So the story about my name, I think my mom said that there was a prayer session when I was to be delivered, and there was a lot of attack here and there, but I was able to sail through, and yeah, man. So the fact that they perceive an attack by different people or different bodies and they sense victory means that's the reason why I was named what I was named. But ABOLADE, which is my surname, is a family name that means that is a man that come with wealth. I want you to take time, tell yourself the story of your name. Find someone to talk to about the story of your name. How do you feel while sharing your name story? It's very important because how do I feel? I felt proud of myself. I also feel like, okay, I've always conquered circumstances. No matter how difficult the situation might be, I always find a means to navigate my way through. It might be difficult sometimes, but sometimes it might be overwhelming, but I will still find myself conquering the situation. And I think that's what I can perceive from my name and what has happened to me over the years. So the next question is connect the story around. So why is the question asked? How do you feel while sharing? So when you're asking a participant in a training about how they feel about what they share, it makes them become uh, more reflective about what the process is like. And when people tell you how they feel, they are not just saying it with their cognition, they're talking by emotion. They are thinking you care about them and how they perceive themselves. And it relieves them of some stress, it relieves them of some anxiety, and it helps you to be able to deliver the message and interact well with them. So it's important you ask people how they feel about any answer. That's very important. So connect the story around your name and birth with a unique conflict situation since you were born. I think I grew up following two sisters. So I became their more of like their mini judge sometimes or mediator. They do have issues when we're growing up. And I think sometimes I used to have conflict with my sister, my just fight like that. I will fought to the point that we were breathing very hard. And afterwards, we were just talking. You're not serious, you're not this, you know. But it died down. And I can tell you, we later became very good friends after that. I mean, even when we have conflict, we go back. But the major thing is we always repair any conflict we have at every point in time. So what do you learn about your partner's story? So if you're sharing with someone, just try and find out what they learn about that story, I mean, what you learn about their story. So what I learned about my whole story is that some conflict are not permanent, they're temporary, they're even very meaningless sometimes, but sometimes it helps to build a stronger friendship with people in the future. It also makes sense that conflict is not actually bad or problematic in itself. It depends on how it's managed. I think she's one of the closest to me out of my siblings. That one. And we've been good. Share a story of a conflict situation in your life that was peacefully managed, just like the one I shared. But I also know that there are several. In schools, I was a school photographer at some point, and sometimes being a photographer means that people might expect that you deliver a job at some time and you couldn't, and it causes a problem. Sometimes you just have to look for ways that to relate the information to them early enough. And I think what really helped most of my conflict situation is communication. I communicate, tell you, oh, I can't do it. So how do you feel by sharing that situation? I felt, oh, I forgot. My memory is getting better. I had, put this in mind even before starting this video. So it shows that the more you dig into yourself, the more you begin to put different scenarios because we have so many stories we have on each time, and we are passing story as humans. What are my core values? What are your core values? First is gratitude. I'm always happy with anywhere I am. I try to make anywhere I am home for me, and that's core to me. Another thing is I communicate well. I believe that that's a major value I have. Ability to communicate and express myself in a proper way. You know, it actually dissolve grudges and everything. And the fact that I I'm a happy person. I don't really care most times about circumstances. So another value is ability to be responsible. I believe when you do A, you can get B. I believe that most times our actions denote what we get from life. But I also believe that in providence and the fact that the superior being, the supernatural being can make things happen. So I believe that. So these questions are important for self-awareness and self-reflection. Reflection itself is a very great act in peace building. I really wish most tutors start this before people go into understanding peace and all that, we start from the psychological frameworks of peace building to understand who we are before we start reading those jargons in school. Because if you know yourself, it will be easy for you to get other people's theory into your being in a very reflective manner. Then you pass the message to other people without just making it garbage in, garbage out, but in a reflection of our personality and our quality to this humanity and to this universe we call home at the moment. So the next thing is you'll be sharing together some peaceful traits you think you have. I will also be sharing mine. So go ahead and write some peaceful traits you think you have. For me, first is strong will, ability to take action anytime I want to do it. The other one is ability to communicate. I think I've shared that before, but not the peaceful trait, I think, and I'm a person that seeks for justice. I used to be, and I'm still somebody that would not like somebody to be treated unfairly. If I have the means, I can go extra mile to support the weak against the so-called strong. And speaking of which is my other trait, which is the trait of a sense of improvement. I've talked about that. Communication is important. Sometimes when I have issues with people or people don't get me, I easily use communication to solve a problem. And the last one is ability to want to be developed all the time. So the learning skills, ability, continuous learning capacity is also another trait that you can have. So look around you and think through yourself. What are the positive traits you have? And you can also do that with SWOT analysis of temperament, framework, and every other thing that can make you get it right. SWOT is strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. So the next thing is two violent or conflict perceived traits, or share why you choose them. So I think my strong will nature can also make me look so selfish and greedy sometimes, because or not empathetic enough, and as a leader, sometimes we just have to take some actions, which some people might feel, oh, that is so, the time is so short, and all. And just say, you must do it. So sometimes it might be violent, sometimes it might be too much, it might be inconsiderate for some people, which are the things I think that's not person. Approximately, let's say my rating should be between 7 and 6. But that is because over time I've been able to master my mind myself, the way to manage situations and concerns around me. So the last one, okay, I've given reasons already. I believe you also look into these things. You've written it. As I said, it must be an honest. They must be honest answers. They must be sensitive. They must be sensible. They must be objective, and you must be honest. Just be honest with yourself. And this also goes to the what analysis, which I will be teaching you at the course of this engagement, and that is the workability, the openness, the being responsive or being relatable, the teachability skills, and also the being honest, which is an attribute of every peace builder must be honest. You must be honest. You must be somebody people can trust. So thank you very much for this session. I believe you've learned one or two things from this session, and I want you to please share this content with other people. And if you have any question in any way, feel free to reach out to me via the comment section or via my private DM, direct message. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye for now.